So, me I go through social media. I'm a book up this blogger. Him well renowned, him known by a lot. He's have been doing his thing. However, this video, more want to know, listen and watch. And share your thoughts on it.
100 million US dollars, if not more. Why can't the government buy 150,000 container houses to disseminate in Western Jamaica? With the money they have gotten through the relief effort. I'm going to ask again, why is it he's saying you can go buy the house at NHT when the government has taken or has been gotten so much money through insurance bond, insurance payout? Who voted for Ramesh? Me now bad mind Ramesh Courtney. But my argument is, how is it you have Ramesh at a press conference speaking about the way forward for the country, but you don't have members of the opposition?
Bro, you ever see member of the opposition?
Not even one member of the opposition.
Our JLP
and then you are talking about you are being strategic, transformational, and comprehensive to include everyone. Where is the inclusive governance? Where is the inclusive governance, Jamaica? I'm going to ask it again. Where is the inclusive governance?
So I hear that a while ago from Per Cummins, from PDT V News Jamaica, and Jano Star. Make me kinda smile, but really and truly more on the people of Jamaica to get help. That are the first thing. You understand? Persons may not see what the government is doing, and we're seeing other persons on social media doing whatever they're doing. However, I'm gonna say something to you now. You remember the other day there was a press briefing in the House of Parliament where they had representative from the World Bank, where the World Bank representative stated that the damages for the country was 8.9 or $8.8 billion.
I would like to start with saying that this assessment is part of the World Bank collaboration with the Inter-American Development Bank and the United Nations Economic Commission for Latin America and the Caribbean, ECLAC. It will inform a more detailed evaluation of damages and economic losses, which is being led by the Planning Institute of Jamaica and includes the partners that I just mentioned. Before presenting the results, it's important to establish what this assessment is and what this assessment is not. So, GRADE, Global Rapid Post-Disaster Damage Estimation, is a remote approach that uses sophisticated techniques like catastrophe modeling, satellite imaging, social media to estimate the direct cost of damage in a short time, in a matter of 2-3 weeks, to inform early decision making. Results are given by parish and by 4 asset classes. These are residential, non-residential, infrastructure, and agriculture. However, the GRADE assessment only assesses physical damage. It does not consider economic losses, and it does not consider the additional costs for building better. It's only like-for-like replacement costs. The GRADE methodology, which the World Bank has developed and used across the world, is meant to support early decision-making in the aftermath of shocks and events. And it actually delivers quite a high level of accuracy of about 90%. Very quickly about the data we used: scientific event data, vulnerability data, remote sensing data, historical damage data, built assets data, census and socioeconomic data, and reported damages in the official sources, media, and social media. And now the key results. The total cost of damage is estimated at 8.8 billion US dollars, which is 41% of the gross domestic product of Jamaica in 2024. As I said, this number assumes only physical damage. The economic damage will, of course, be also large, and often from our experience, it's even larger than the physical damage. But this will be estimated later when the dollar assessment is completed. Parishes of St. Elizabeth, St. James, Westmoreland experienced the worst damage, and these three parishes account for a total of 5.5 billion US dollars, or 63% of the country's total damage. This slide shows total damages by parish for four categories that I mentioned before: residential buildings, non-residential buildings, infrastructure, and agriculture. I would like to note that the breakdown by parish should be taken as indicative, and this will be verified in the future estimates. The first one, residential building damages, account for 3.7 billion US dollars, and this is 41% of the total estimated damages, and this is the largest category of damages. It includes houses and their contents, and also includes mixed-use buildings which are characterized as residential. The second category is non-residential buildings and their contents damage. It accounts for 20% of the total damage, equal to 1.8 billion US dollars. And this includes commercial, industrial, tourism, public buildings, and non-residential qualified as mixed-use buildings and their contents. The third group is infrastructure damage. It was estimated at 2.9 billion US dollars, which accounts for 33% of the total damage, and this includes power networks, water networks, telecoms, seaports, jetties, coastal structures, airports, roads, bridges, and equipment. And the final group is agricultural damages, which is estimated at 389 million US dollars, with notable damages to the fishing sector, livestock, dairy, cash crops, vegetables, and fruit trees. I would like to repeat that this is only physical damage, and that economic damages from lost sales, tourism, lost tourism arrivals, and so on are likely to be at the same level or even of a higher level of magnitude. And this actually is true about, very true about the agriculture sector, where economic damages are likely to be higher than the physical damages. This is the best snapshot at this time, which is, as I mentioned, 90% accurate. We will be issuing a joint press release with the IDB, and there will be a report which will be available to everyone. All the data, all the information will be open source. Everybody will be able to use this data and will serve as a basis for future assessments. In closing, I would like to say that the total estimated damages exceed any recent historical event. This means that the recovery will be an enormous and long-term task. It will require a well-coordinated strategic approach to ensure speed, efficiency, and transparency, and a whole of society effort from local institutions, the private sector, and from communities. Grade estimated costs of replacement don't take into account the building forward better, but it is important to build forward better, so the costs of replacing the damaged infrastructure and damaged assets will be higher than this assessment. The substantial residential damage, although significant, gives an opportunity to build forward better, and building regulations will be critical in this regard. But the benefits can be as high as $6 for every dollar spent. And my final message is, if we work together, reconstruction can be an opportunity to reimage Jamaica and to rebuild a resilient Jamaica for the future. Thank you.
And they did a breakdown that the residents who got affected, the roads, government buildings, everything, they gave a figure.
But it is one thing to lose the physical assets of production, which, by the way, if you were to compare the disaster of COVID to this disaster, we didn't lose any productive asset. In this one, we have lost productive assets. We have lost farms, we have lost businesses, we have lost schools, and we have to go and rebuild them. You have to put on top of that what it is going to cost to sustain the relief phase, what it's going to cost us for debris management, major part of the operations, what it is going to cost us to sustain the food packages. There's a notion that we're getting a lot of aid and that will carry you through. That will carry you for a couple of weeks, if so many. We are going to have to put the budgetary allocation to carry the relief effort, and that is going to be significant. Then there is the cleanup operation, which is a quite separate operation from debris management, because once you move away the debris that is the initial debris from the storm, then now you have to go and figure out to clear roads, to move all the debris of houses that have been blown down, and everybody will soon start putting their old beds and couches and old fridge and everything is going to start to pile up. So which is why we have indicated that we will have a national cleanup week. It might very well stretch into months because the level of debris is significant. And how that is going to be disposed of and the cost of that, that is something we will have to address. And then we have to figure out now the parallel systems to get people back into school, to get hospitals up and running, to get businesses running. All of those come with a cost that we will have to foot. So in addition to losing your productive capacity, you now have to take on expenditure that you did not budget for. So the $6 to $7, $8 billion, that's just what we have lost. What we have to spend additionally, we are in that process now of totaling it up to see what it comes. Then the recovery phase, all of that. So I want Jamaicans to understand the magnitude of the problem.
So, I want to say to you, bro, I say it already, $804 million versus $8.9 billion. That's a huge margin. Not saying the government should not help the people, but them talk about NHT.
We have examined pre-built containerized modular solution, and we have settled in our minds that this is appropriate for the Jamaican situation that we now have. There are different types, different versions, and so I've met with the NHT, and the NHT has provided us with a solution that they are presently working on. At a later stage, we'll go into more details, but the plan is for, in the initial phase, for the NHT to purchase 5,000 container homes, and some of them will be for sale with a program with the NHT. You will be able to purchase. Some of them will be used to build housing schemes, which you can purchase, and a portion of them will be made available through social housing. The government itself will also be purchasing some of these containerized housing solutions, which will be made available through the social housing modality. So effectively, we have to do a rapid deployment of housing solutions. And the easiest way to do this is to use the containerized solutions. They do take some time to arrive in Jamaica. There's just certainly not the quantity to make an impact. So we have met and discussed it. We have taken the policy decision that these can be used, And so the process of acquiring them through the procurement process, they have been given the approval to move ahead with that. So that should start in short order. You know, we are not going to get them here for Christmas. I just have to be frank with everybody. But we should start to see some coming in by late January. And those that come in initially, we are going to be looking at the worst cases assessed to make them available. For Christmas and for the initial stages, we're going to have to try to do the shelter repair kits, the heavy-duty tarpaulins, and those kinds of solutions, in addition to the rebuilding, the actual putting on roofs and so forth, as much of that as we can in the coming weeks leading up to Christmas. But the containerized solution does take some time. The shipping is between 30 to 90 days, just that alone. Then there is some procurement and other administrative and bureaucratic things that might take up the time. So we're really trying to cut it as quickly as possible, as short as possible. But even with the best efforts, there may be some.
Bro, you need to do a facts check. Because the government did state that they are looking into container house. Remember, at the initial stage, the government did said them are going to look about container house. And then the opposition rubbish it. And now the opposition themselves are delivering container houses. And remember again, the container, the persons who produced these houses stated that it withstand the category 5 hurricane Melissa. So the government used that stats and was looking into getting the container house. And I think this is a quick way of resolving issue. But the government never say them are go use NHT fully. He said the government of Jamaica, to include the Prime Minister, stated that he's going to get container house and give to some of the residents.
Yes, the government will give rebuilding grants. I cannot say how much those will be or the categories right now. I mean, we have decided on the category. The burial framework will apply: minor, moderate, and severe. But that needs an assessment. And so that's what is kind of holding us up, why we can't pay yet. Now, we're not going to wait until we have assessed every single house. But we do need to reach a critical threshold where we begin to see how the damage is stacking up from a statistical point of view. So we know how much to allocate for minor repairs, how much to allocate for moderate repairs, and how much to allocate for severe. And we actually need the report so that we can establish the threshold. What exactly is minor? What exactly is moderate? And what exactly range is severe? So we're not yet at that threshold. I suspect by the time we reach 30,000 assessments, you would start to see the kind of repetitive nature of the damage, and so you can establish what the thresholds are. So we should get to 30,000 very, very soon, based upon the work that ODPEM is doing in expanding its core and coordinating, and the work already being done by the Ministry of Labour and Social Security.
Donate it. Give them. But say you have stipulations, guidelines where you have to follow. Forget them. Him can't just go and give out houses like that. Him have to do it so it reflect in the budget. We don't know how politics go. Because at the end of the day, we the people are going to scrutinize them and say, yo, where that money they, all that money they go, all that money they spend. So, him have to use the government bodies to demonstrate or to show clarity to the people. The government bodies who have the knowledge and the skills to do whatever they have to do. Remember, so them have to test the lands them. Them have to do them survey and all of them someday. For the lands them will fit. And also, the houses them where them are give, them have to have proper documentation for the land them. Remember, government not just go in and give things just like so unless people have proper documentation. Right? And we now go go dive in the economy, because the economy damages the economy not calculated yet. Remember that. So the 8.4 billion, the 8.9 billion, sorry, is just for the population, government buildings, damages that are done to roads, and all of them stuff there are factor in that. Remember, them not factor in the economy yet. So me understand why I say, bro, you need to see what is going on. And me agree with you. Cause the whole Jamaica wants to see what go on. But I not just go and get houses and put down like that. You have to think, bro. Use your brains. As I say, me wish everybody could have just go and get a house. So. Get all our houses them just so. But I not say go, bro. $8.4 million can't cover every single thing.